Welcome to All Things Marketing Podcast, the podcast that talks all things marketing for both franchise and multi-location marketing leaders. ATM is brought to you by PureDriven. We'll show you how to turn your brand into a money-making machine. Here's your host, Steve Rockwood.
Hello and welcome to ATM. My name is Steve Rockwood. I am the marketing manager at PureDriven. Today we are going to talk about the importance of local store marketing for franchises. I'm joined by special guest Kristina Hathaway from My Business Vault. Kristina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
I am glad, and thank you for joining me today. It's always nice to have guests on the show. So before we get started with my line of questions for you, could you just tell me what a typical workday looks like for you?
Sure. I kind of laugh at that question because I don't have a typical workday.
Nice.
I own and operate an orange leaf frozen yogurt franchise, or one store, and every day is different. Obviously, my overall role at the store is making sure operations are running smoothly and people are in the right place at the right time. And also, I pretty much act as the face of the business. I do all the marketing and kind of business development. So, for example, this morning I had to drop off 400 samples of frozen yogurt to a school as they were having a health and wellness fair. And I think this is our fourth or fifth year doing that. So, I'll do things like that. A lot of community engagement. So every day is different, which is a good thing, I think.
Awesome. Well, my wife and my mom actually both work in the school system, so they very much appreciate what you do because they have a lot of days like that where they love having people come in and help out with that stuff. So I'm sure they are thankful for people like you.
Yeah, we love doing that.
Awesome. So I know that you own and operate as a big part of your day, and I also know we talked earlier, and you told me that local store marketing was very important to you. So I just wanted to know, why do you say that local store marketing is important for franchises?
Sure. Well, obviously our franchise is B2C, so it's really important for us to do local store marketing to keep in touch with our customers, engage with our customers, make sure we're bringing them back into the store. There's a lot of different little things that we have to do that the franchisor can't do because we're the boots on the ground. We know our market. We know our customers. What we do in our region is a lot different than what another orange leaf store does in a different region. So we have to really be specific in how we market to our area. And the only people that can really do that is the franchisee, I feel. The franchisor does a great job with the national marketing in terms of promoting new flavors that come out or any partnerships that we have with different charities or organizations. But really up to us to make sure we're out there every day getting in front of customers.
Gotcha. As far as local marketing goes, what do you currently do for your local marketing? Like, I guess your grassroots approach, since you are the marketer for your business, what do you typically do for your particular franchise?
Sure. We really count on social media a lot. It's just the easiest way to get out to our customers and to reach new customers. Facebook and Instagram is what we primarily use. Yeah. And then on top of that, it's really partnering with our community. Whether it's like I said this morning, bringing samples to that school and dropping off coupons. Yeah. So now 400 kids have coupons that they can bring to their parents. We'll bring them into the store. A lot of community engagement is what we rely on as well.
Awesome. And then as far as your Facebook and Instagram posts, what does a typical post look for you? Is it mostly organic, or do you do paid ads as well? Or is it just a mix?
It's pretty much a mix. What's really nice is that our franchisor provides us with images.
Okay.
And then we can take those images and create posts with that. So tailor it again to our specific store.
Awesome.
If we have a promotion, like a buy one, get one free type of promotion, I'll boost that ad on Facebook.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's nice when the franchisors provide those images. We work with with a variety of different franchises here at PureDriven, and some of them do offer that, and some don't. And it is really nice for both the franchisee and anyone they hire to work on their marketing, because it just makes it so much easier to have that kind of streamlined graphic approach.
Yeah, it is. It is easier, but we also like to mix it in because we want pictures from within our store too,
Oh yeah.
of our staff and what's going on in our community. So it's definitely good to have a mix.
Yeah, super important. Do you guys use Instagram stories at all when you do your local marketing for your store?
I haven't used Instagram stories yet. No.
Okay. No, I was
Yeah.
just wondering because I know I've seen a lot of them going up lately, and I was wondering I guess how many people were adopting it at the actual store
Right.
ownership level. So just an interesting tidbit. Yeah, it'd be fun to see what you could do. I'm sure if you handed the phone to one of your staff members, they'd probably be all over it.
Oh yeah, sure.
Awesome. So my next question is, do you have any advice for franchise owners who don't currently have a local marketing strategy in place and are just relying on that national branding to kind of pull them through?
Yeah, well, I've been in operation now for 6 years, and you really can't rely just on the franchisor. They can only do so much.
Yeah.
It's really up to the individual franchisee to be the face of the store. Every day you're in charge of bringing customers in, and my advice is, not everybody comes with a marketing skill set,
Yeah.
which is fine. So that's why there's people out there who do marketing and do it well. And I would definitely encourage, franchisees to connect with a marketing consultant or social media consultant of some sort, because you really want for that, marketing of your business to be run well.
Yeah, for sure. So actually that brings me to a question is, how did you yourself find yourself in the franchise world? What kind of brought you to be an owner operator?
That's a good question. I owned a business prior to that for 8 years. It was a media publishing business.
Okay.
And I come from a background of family owned businesses as well. So I've always had that, bug to be a business owner, and kind of drag my husband into it too. And we just decided that we wanted to own a business together. He has a finance background. I have the marketing background. So putting those two together seemed like a good combination for running a business.
Yeah.
We looked at independent businesses that were for sale. We looked at starting a business, and then we landed on franchising. And it just seemed like a perfect fit because it is that business in a box. You're given everything you need to start the business, and it's just up to you to take it and run with it and use it to its full potential.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. I know that's why a lot of people do it. And it's awesome that your husband is on board as well. It's always nice to be able to work with the people close to you, especially when their skills align like that. So that's awesome.
Right.
I married a graphic designer because I'm a marketer at heart, and the graphic design stuff is something that I could use help with. So it worked out well. I guess.
It works out.
Yeah, exactly. I guess on that same note is, as an owner operator, when it comes to the marketing side and the operating side, which side was harder for you to adapt to as a franchise owner? Like when you first got the business, was it harder to run the business, or was it harder to kind of realize that you have to do the marketing and basically do all the business development on that?
Yes, that's an interesting question. I think, and this is what I think business owners fall into, this trap of just working in your business.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to do the operations, to get in there and be running the cash register and making the food and just working in your business. Marketing and business development, those require you to step back and look at your business strategically and do a lot of planning. And I think that's hard for business owners. And even for me, coming from a marketing and sales background, it was hard for me to kind of step back and do that as well, because, small business owners, you're always putting out fires or somebody calls out sick. You're kind of managing those day-to-day urgencies. So, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had someone on the podcast earlier today, actually, and she mentioned a lot of franchise owners might get, when they're trying to sell their franchise, it's almost like when they sell a house, they might get offended by an offer because they're so emotionally connected to the business that an offer that's lower than they think it's worth, when really that offer was probably the correct one, they might take offense to it. So I think what you're saying, where you have to step back and get out of the day-to-day, it makes a lot of sense on the marketing and finance side too, because if you just get absorbed in that store and the day-to-day and the emotional aspect of you love your customers and what you do, you might not really get a realistic look at your market share and all that important stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just thinking about what's happening next week. You're not really thinking long-term.
Yep, exactly. Awesome. Well, I have one more question for you, and hopefully it's easier than that one. And it is, what's your favorite part about working in the franchise world?
Well, I love this question because I love the franchise world because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know, you're given a system, you're given a product or a service. You have this whole support team behind you, but you're running a small business. So you do have that flexibility of being your own boss. And I think that's what's the greatest thing is that, you know, you have a support team, but you can be your own boss. And I love that. That's a good combination to have.
Definitely. Well, my final question for you is, if someone wants to learn more either about what you do or your franchise, where would they go or who would they contact?
I would say probably the easiest way to reach me is on LinkedIn. I think most people are on LinkedIn these days. So if you just go to Kristina Hathaway, you'll find me there. Awesome.
And I will drop Kristina's LinkedIn link in the bottom of the description of the podcast so you can easily click it as well. Well, Kristina, I'd love to have you again sometime, maybe just to tell your story from the start to where you are now, because it seems like you are very educated in what you're doing and you know what you're doing. So I think that it'd be nice to hear kind of the beginning of your story to where you are now, because it seems like you're very established.
Oh, well, I'd love to be back. That's very nice. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Kristina. I'm sure we will hear from you again, and I will see everyone else here next time on Franchise ATM. Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks.
You just listened to All Things Marketing Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast to catch every new episode every day. Want to be a guest on the show? Sign up at PureDriven.com/guest. See you tomorrow here at the ATM.